I don't know why the title of the last one came out. Crying, whatever, 1-6, part 166. It should have been 666. So don't notice that. So I know the last one I was talking something about therapy, but I don't know, suicide or whatever. I wish I could think of the bitchy things that Paul has said throughout the week. It'll be like, a lot of it'll be like, I'll go to last night 'cause it's vivid and it was drawn out. So I had the idea to make this Barnabas song, and I had a pretty clear idea. And I was like, Paul, do you have harpsichord on your big keyboard? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I also have clavicle and dulcimer and other old things, because on Dark Shadows is mostly set in the year 1967, 68, like when they filmed it. But there's this time portal that's opened up, and a character's gotten sucked in, and now it's 1795, and she's in the world of Barnabas. It's like his origin story. I may have told you this, it sounds familiar. To find out, apparently to find out how he became a vampire and stuff. But it's been a really long, drawn out story arc that we've been in 1795. Like, I've almost forgotten that it's a show that's not set in 1795. And it's pretty heartbreaking because the Barnabas of 1795 is kind and gentlemanly and lovable, but some things happened to his family, happened to him. Eventually, he's going to become a vampire. I don't know when, because he shows up in 1968 as a vampire who is tortured, can be vicious, can kill, but yet also still retains like this humanity that he had before. And have I told you all this? Anyway, it intrigues me. The character intrigues me. I did tell you all this. So I wanted to make a song. And so, yes, I was asked Paul to play something on the harpsichord, and like something kind of goth, or not, yeah, goth, like sad, mournful. And he came up with what I used as the whole track. Like, it was great. It was totally great. And then he also did a thing with his the thing. It's not a recorder. You know what it. Fuck. I have no brain. This thing. I can't think of what that's called. Okay. So he does this great. And then my plan was to do piano, and which came out good. I was happy with that. And a vocal and another vocal. And the first vocal, I winged it. I came out really good. It was good. So I was really happy. And I told Paul, I was like, you're going to LOL so hard when you hear this. And so everything was like, oh, it's great. The tracks are coming out great. The vocals funny, and then I had this poetry sort of thing, and I was like, the next part is gonna be blah 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 blah, and he was like, wow, like he was impressed, and then like instantly couldn't remember it. So a little bit told a lie. So I made the track with that, and I thought it sounded all right. Wasn't exactly what I said to Paul, but it had similar, same imagery, kind of not as concise, not as good, but like I was happy with it. And then there's this haunting thing that happens at the end. And in that first vocal track, there was a haunting thing that happened in the end. No, there wasn't. Take that back. Was there? Yes, there was. And then accidentally, the haunting thing, I lost like the first, not paragraph, the first little piece of it. I chopped off somehow and couldn't get it back. So it's in that first vocal, and I wanted it to be at the end of the second vocal. And so because by the time I was at the second vocal, it was chopped off, I doubled it so that it wouldn't sound chopped off. And the top original vocal sounded a little more delicate and beautiful. And then the bottom vocal that had the whole thing wasn't delicate and beautiful, but it sounded good with the top. It sounded right. I thought it sounded good. So I had this feeling that... Okay, here's my lie. I told him that I had recorded it, the thing that he liked. Or I told him I had it written down. I can't remember. I was like so excited that he was like, whoa, that I was like, I'm going to do this immediately. And then but then he kept chatting with me. And then by the time I got a chance to jot it down, it was all gone. I think that's what happened. I think I told him I wrote it down or something. It's not good to lie. I wish I hadn't lied. But I did. So, I don't know why. I should have been like, that was just on the fly and I couldn't remember it. Wouldn't it have been more genius to be like, I can just fucking make shit up on the fly that you find impressive. I don't have to work that hard. But anyway, that's not how it went down. So, I'm in this vulnerable hell state for days and days. But it gave me joy to work on this song. I call him and I'm like, it's ready. And he listens to the track, the final mix. I mean, it doesn't have to be the final mix, but I was considering it the final mix. And he listens to it and he's got nothing to say. And usually he's like, he'll laugh and be like, that's good, or I like that. Or I did a Neil Young cover, Rockin' in the USA, the other day, and he was like, I can't remember, he was critical of it, but it didn't hurt that bad. He basically said it was weak, which it was. But I can take critical feedback. Whatever he said about the Neil Young didn't hurt, but this hurt. He said nothing, and I was like having to drag it out of him. And I was like, do you not like the that last track, or the second to last track with the kind of spoken word thing? He's like, I didn't say that. And I was like, this went around and around, and I was like, you don't like it? He goes, I never said that. And I was like, in 5 different roundabout ways, you've showed me that you don't like it. You haven't said you do like it. And then he was like, I like that other mix better. Another one that I showed him that was just the instruments and the LOL vocal, which is actually very pretty. But it's funny if you see the show. And the thing that eventually got chopped off. he's like, I like that better. And I had thought that was, it is nice. And it's like my second choice for being the final mix. But I took it personally that he didn't like the writing that had impressed him earlier because it wasn't the same. And he interrogated me. He was like, well, where's what you said to me before? Like, did you record? Didn't you record it? Like, which one has the recording of that? And I was like, I don't know. I did like a lot of mixes. I was like, I can't find the mix, and I can't find the piece of paper that I wrote it on. I was like lying and lying. And he's like, well, did you write it on the back of my crossword puzzle? Because I had written a bunch on the back of his crossword puzzle. I was like, no, I don't know. And I felt like shit for like bullshitting him, and I felt like shit that he didn't like it. It was like really obvious. And I became like really overwhelmed because if I don't get like even a smidgen of approval or like clear, like, I think that the vocal is kind of high on that, or I'm not sure if that works in that spot, like then I can never look at it again. So I can't hear it. I can't look at it. I can't move on. I mean, it's fucked up of me, I suppose, right? I guess it's like some weird ego thing. Or actually, his criticism of the Neil Young, I felt like it was respectful and I could take it, but I can't listen to it anymore. So I've got a sensitivity there. I've got a problem. Because he was not a dick about that. But this, he was so like, the only thing he wanted to talk about was like, well, where's that good thing that you wrote? And I was just like, I don't know. And he wouldn't comment on what I actually did. And he was evasive. And finally, he was like, I like the other one better, the other one. And I was like, well, what don't you like about the one that you just heard? And I don't think he said anything. I don't remember what he said. He probably said nothing. And I started to cry because that's what I've been doing lately. And I was a little bitchy to him. I was like, well, 5 different ways you've said you didn't like it. Like, why am I to think that you do like it? Like, am I putting words in your mouth? Like, so I was a little like pushy, aggressive with him, assertive, and he don't like that. So blah blah blah. Like, it gets quiet. I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't crying. I felt like crying. It gets tense and awkward and painful. And I'm sitting here in the bed, and he's just like pacing around the room. And then he just goes to the door, and without eye contact or any kind of acknowledgement, I'm obviously sad, or that he hasn't found a way to praise me. Maybe I'm a praise junkie. He just goes, well, I guess I'm gonna go out here. Leaves the room. I'm gonna fight later about it, but I can't do a three-part vlog. It's too much. Okay, bye. There's been so much bad shit with him. Where it's just, like, he's wrong. Even if I'm wrong, the way he handles it is wrong. Okay. Goodbye.